Well, thank you everybody for being here for this unique episode of this Stories from Encircle podcast. This is the first time we're doing kind of a group thing, testing it out. Might be a little chaotic, might be a little more PG-13. Better not be, but fair warning. I just want to start off. Let's kind of go around the room and we'll say our names and our pronouns, and then I have a question to get us started. So I'm Cal, and I use he, him, and they, them pronouns.
Hi, I'm Lee. I use they, them pronouns.
My name's Willow. I use she, they pronouns.
I'm Chris. I use they, them pronouns.
I'm Taylor, and I use he, him pronouns.
And I'm Wren. I use they, them pronouns.
Beautiful. I'm glad we're doing this because I feel like I have the face for radio, so I feel like this podcast will go good. Yeah. No, you get it? Like,
it was like self-deprecating humor. Or
yeah. It's called a joke. Like,
Oh, wow. Okay, Dad.
yeah, but I do have a question for you. So I feel like there's kind of this, maybe it's just a stereotype or like it comes from movies, like this trope where there's this pressure to come out to your family when you're all sitting around Thanksgiving dinner, tap your glass and be like, hey, everybody, I'm gay.
Is that not how it works? Because I was planning on doing that.
Do you feel like that pressure is real? Like, how have you felt that? And like, how would you respond to that? I don't know, that oomph. That's Chris.
God, no. That is no. If you are not in a safe environment or you know that you're not going to be a safe environment, don't feel obligated to come out in a big setting. You can if you know that you're going to be safe, but just as a rule of thumb, check to make sure that you're safe first before you outwardly go out and come out expressively.
Taylor, you were saying that, yeah.
Yeah, my Thanksgiving dinner is going to be upwards of 60 people. So, I'm a little worried about that. My family, I think majority of them don't know that I'm trans, or at least don't know my pronouns, and that's kind of irritating and nerve-wracking because my parents kind of treat it like this dirty little secret to me and regarding me, and that's pretty frustrating. But I have actually talked to my therapist about this, and we've set some boundaries. We're going to go over them tomorrow, so I'm really excited for that.
We love therapy.
Yeah, we do.
We stand.
We stand therapy.
We stand therapists.
I'm holding it, but I wasn't going to speak.
Okay. Well, and I just want to say, like, there is, I don't know, like with family, it's hard because I feel like the culture that we have around families says that like you're not allowed to have boundaries, or you're not allowed to like set rules, or almost like be independent within a family space. And so I feel like there's almost that like kind of presumption that, I don't know, you're going to be open about everything, or you're going to give in to the family will, if that makes sense, or like do what's going to benefit the family. But like, I think we need to focus on like what is going to benefit you the most, what's going to help you the most. Like, your safety needs to come first, and like it is okay to not come out. Like, I think sometimes in the queer community we treat it like a rite of passage almost, or like, I don't know, like that you have to do it. And it's not that way. Like, do it if and when you feel safe, and if it will improve your quality of life, being authentic to yourself. And like, like we should always celebrate when people come out and are authentic to themselves. But like, not everyone has the privilege of that being okay for them. And like, I think we need to give space for that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. I think just because someone says you have to come out does not mean you have to come out by any means. I think, like Cal said, it's a privilege to be able to come out. If you're not in a safe space or you don't feel safe coming out, you don't have to. You know what I mean? Like, just because people think it's a rite of passage does not mean it is. So I think labels are fluid. Labels, like on the notion of coming out and stuff, like you can come out more than once as more than one thing. And you don't have to be ashamed about it. You know what I mean? Like, things are fluid. Labels can change. And what did you say?
You define the label. Your label doesn't define you.
The thing is that labels you don't have to like stick to one label and like stick it to yourself like a name tag, you know what I mean? Like, and even then you can change your name too. That's the beauty of this place at Encircle, and like just in general, you can change your name. It's a thing you can do, you know what I mean? Like, you can go to the social security office and be like, I don't want to be Taylor anymore, I want to be Skylar or whatever. I've given this some thought, guys. But like the point is, like, labels can change. You don't have to think, oh my god, I came out as transgender, I always have to be transgender. No, you can identify as a he, him, lesbian one day and decide that this isn't the right label for you. You don't have to think of it as an absolute, like, must. Labels can change, and thinking of it as an absolute must will just cause you grief and, like, make you think that, like, oh my god, this is the end of the absolute world. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be the end of the world if you change your mind. You know what I mean? You could change your mind, and changing your mind is proof that you have one. That's what one of the friendship circle attendees told me, so.
Yeah, I'm grateful that you said that because, you know, for me, I never really formally came out to my family because it was just something that I was always kind of intimidated by because I never really had that one specific label. All I knew is that I wasn't straight. And so I didn't feel comfortable making a big deal out of, you know, because people say coming out is a huge deal. And so for me, it was like, I can't come out because I don't have that one label that I feel I'm going to have for the rest of my life. And so, yeah, coming out was always like a stressful thing for me. So that's good to know that like labels are fluid and I can come out as many times as I need to. Were you gonna? Oh, I thought you.
Oh, no.
It was Scal. Or
It was
Wren,
me?
Wren.
Yeah.
Was it
Go
you?
ahead,
Or,
Okay. I don't know. We keep like bringing up that like we've made coming out like a huge deal, but I think especially within the queer community, we always talk about how like one day we want to reach a point where like we don't have to come out, and I think that the first step in doing that is making coming out like not a big deal. Like it doesn't have to be a huge thing, and as soon as we recognize that like it doesn't have to be a huge thing, like you don't have to congratulate me when I come out, that's like the first step in it just becoming this thing that like we no longer have to do. It's just your queer identity is there. And like if you want to celebrate it, you can, but like I feel like there's a pressure that like we have to come out and then we have to celebrate that we came out.
I think the goal should be to celebrate authenticity and people living their lives as who they really are. And like, I think you're onto something there where like the process of expressing who we are shouldn't be such a big deal. You know, it should be like, I like dudes, I like girls, the same way like I like brunettes, I like blondes. You know, like talking about things in just like a very natural, normal way. I think that's such a beautiful idea. And like, I love that we can still celebrate people who make the hard decisions, you know, like, and obviously every individual, every family, every culture is going to have a different degree of difficulty of how, you know, your authenticity will be challenged. But I think like we can celebrate the person without making the process into a big deal, you know?
Yeah.
Like it, and it is a big deal.
You know yourself. I think it's important to like celebrate that you know yourself well and that like you understand that part of you. But I think that that's what we should focus our celebration on, is the fact that we are finally like reaching a point where people are taking steps to understand themselves deeper. Because I mean, I can say whatever I want. I can come out as so many things that I'm not. And I think it's important that like we know ourselves and that that's what's being celebrated. And I think that that would also take away from the stress of like, I don't know my exact label. I don't have an exact label. It's like I'm celebrating that you know that you're queer, that you fit within this community. But when you take it off of coming out with a certain label and more like celebrating that you know yourself, I think, I don't know how to like word that.
Yeah.
wow, that was really
Am I-
profound. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I like that we're talking about like celebrating the person rather than the process because I don't know, like I think that like I've always viewed coming out as this one singular exciting, extravagant event, but like I'm going to come out my entire life. Like every single day I'm coming out because I'm moving one step closer to my true authentic self and like the me that feels like the one that I want to be for the rest of my life. And so, you know, coming out will never stop for queer people. And I think that's like amazing. Yeah.
One thing, I don't know if it was just me that experienced this or if it's kind of universal, but when someone tells me that they're an ally and they kind of take it to the extreme where they assume that my sexuality is my whole personality. Like, I had a friend in junior high where I came out to her, and she, the day after, she was like, yes, mama, boots the house down. Like, completely, like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, complete, like, I don't consider myself too fey, but she went to the extreme of, like, okay, so this is what you identify as. So, this is what I'm going to take it. But kind of like,
in a box.
oh, yeah. So if you are like an ally, I just say like, don't assume that that's everything about them. They were vulnerable enough to tell you something that's a part of them, but it's not their whole.
Yeah, don't just stereotype someone. I think that's really important. Like, recognize that people are not stereotypes. People are people. And you need to see them as such.
I really like that because, like, I can say I'm queer, but I can also say that I'm so many other things. I can say that I'm creative. I can say that I'm kind. I can say so many things that don't depend on my queerness. And so when people take my queerness and, like, turn that into the only thing that they, like, bring up, like, I've had friends introduce me, like, hey, this is Wren. They're my queer friend. And I'm like,
what?
That's literally not even how I met you. I met you in ballet class.
Or like the title gay best friend.
Yeah, and like gay best friend.
Or
and
like,
it's like
for people when people have to pop in that someone's trans, like they're my trans friend, and it's like
yeah, and it's like I am so much more than queer, and like I'm so proud to be queer, but
We're not some token friend, though.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and I just want to say, like, that's kind of one of the beautiful things I found about Encircle is, like, the reason why we talk about queer issues and our queer identities in the outside world is because those things are under attack a lot. And, like, we have to be defending that. But places like Encircle, where we're safe to be queer and, like, everybody's queer, we can do music night and we can do art night and we can develop every other aspect of our personalities and our identity because our queerness is safe, you know?
It's one less thing to think about. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, we don't have gay trainings, you know, like, we're not teaching you how to be queer.
I wish.
That'd be nice, right? But, like, it's just
How to not dress badly 101.
that could be cool. But it's just a place to be you and be your full you know? Or here's a better example. Like, I go to a local conservatively religious university. And I am not the only queer person in my degree program, but I'm certainly the most vocal. And I've had people, like, kind of get mad at me, like, why are you so aggressive or angry about this?
Are you rocking the bow type of thing?
Exactly. And my answer is, it's not because of me. Like, I'm okay. Like, I have a ton of privilege and support through Encircle, and, like, I have friends and I have community. Like, but for the people who don't, they need someone who's going to rock the boat, you know?
Who's gonna fight for them, yeah.
Someone who's going to fight for them. Exactly. And, like, I don't know, like, I feel like I'm making this sound like I'm bragging about myself, you know?
No.
But, like,
It's important.
There's
I
a
think it's
reason-
really important.
yeah, well, and, like, I went to lunch with Lisa the other day, you know, like the parent program that Encircle does. And one of the parents gave this idea, I don't remember who it was, and I hope that I say it well enough, but they said this idea that, like, every person that comes out is like a warrior for, like, life and love. Like, they are saying it's better for me to live my true authentic life as I really am than to continue hiding and protecting myself. Like, they're putting themselves out there as, like, a symbol, almost saying, like, I believe in love more than I love in being safe, or I believe in living an authentic life more than living a false life that's safe.
It's pretty good. Did someone?
Do you want
I just had one thing really quick.
Yeah. Sorry I went on so long.
No. Going off of that, how you were talking about, being like the catalyst for so many people in your life and like being that space for other people to come out. I think it's so cool that like so many people in our age range are like questioning and like I don't think that's like, I think that's just because we're just like this
We're not
awesome.
calling anybody out. What are you laughing at?
I just think that it's like we're just in this awesome stage of the world where like we're making each other feel so safe that people are able to explore their sexualities and their gender. And like, the reason that there's more queer people now than ever is because we're entering a world in which that is a possibility, And so, yeah, I think that's super cool.
Yeah, sorry, I'm really bad at this, as you can tell. Yeah, my, I don't know, I'm not gonna say that, because I don't know, I think my sister would be okay with this, so I'm gonna say it. My sister came out after me, actually, and, I was really proud of her, because she really helped me come out of the closet, and really, like, I'm a twin, actually, let's start with that. I'm a twin, a fraternal twin, and, throughout my life, my sister has been a really good influence on me and really has had my back a lot of my life. And I'm really so grateful and so privileged to have had a twin sister, Like, I'm sure you all have siblings. But I have had a built-in best friend who has not really always been my best friend, but, like, we're really connected. For better or for worse, and siblings, siblings, but like it's like to another level if you have a twin, you know what I mean? I can't really describe it for all of you guys unless you have a twin. Does anyone have a twin here? No? Okay. So you will not understand, but I'll try and describe it to the best of my ability. When you're like connected, you're like connected. Like it's like all synergy is like firing. Like you shared a womb with this person, Like you're like, you get each other more than anything else. Like she knows what I'm thinking, she knows what I'm feeling, like sometimes, like she's my first call.
They were womb mates.
We were womb mates, exactly. Yeah, yeah. To quote the vine. No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Yeah.
You redeemed yourself from the round
table. Yeah. She just like she gets me better than I get myself sometimes. And the thing is, when I came out, she was the first person I told, and coincidentally, when she came out to me, I was one of the first people she told, and that was really cool feeling to have. To share that with her, and I'm really proud of her because she's really prioritized her mental health and stuff, and to like pass the torch to her and like have her, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get emotional, I think, but like I'm just so freaking proud of my sister because she's done such a good job like doing all this stuff, and then like to see her like really like blossom and to have her see me blossom too. Like I've met you guys and you guys are pretty dang cool. Like I'm not gonna swear on this thing, I promise, but like you guys are really awesome. Like and I'm so grateful to have met you guys, and her and I are like just thriving, and like it's so cool to see your like twin thrive and for you to thrive too at the same time in your lives. And like when we were growing up we hated each other, but now we're thriving together in different places, but like it's just awesome, like it's just awesome. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, like that started to make me tear up because like I have siblings that are queer as well, and like knowing like walking into my younger siblings' room, there's like a huge lesbian flag hanging on the wall, and like yeah, and just knowing how authentic they feel in themselves, and like knowing that I was part of the decision for them to put up that flag, like knowing that I helped them feel that there was a safe place in the home to like share their identity with the family, Yeah.
Something I find interesting is that both my siblings, they're younger than me. Don't ask me their age because I don't know. They're both identify as straight as right now as we know, but they're young. But as soon as but
It's just a phase.
Yeah.
just straight for a while. No, but when I bought my pride flag, and I bought another one, which was like I don't know if you guys know the one. It has the diagonals. It wasn't
The progress
but yeah, the progress one. They wanted to take it from me and put it in their room. And right now, my sister has one right up against her bedside wall. And before she had it, my brother had it, and he had it above his bed. And it was all really cute.
my cold dead heart.
But it's interesting to see what you can do as like a family member in your own family unit to create that space so that they know it's okay. But yeah.
Yeah, so I am the oldest sibling in my family. I'm the first to officially come out to my parents, and I'm also like, I'm the oldest cousin on my dad's side. I'm the second oldest on my mom's side, and I think I'm the first to come out officially. And so I'm kind of like, I guess, paving the way. And so it's not easy, but I am glad that it's me. Maybe that's a little bit of a savior complex, but I am glad that I can like try to make it easier for my siblings. My sister's queer, and I have a couple of queer cousins. And so I want to be like the person that they can come to and like has had the experience, so that when life's hard or whatever happens, that they know there's someone they can come to.
Okay. I don't know if you guys have ever been asked this question, and if so, I might just be defensive. But when you like come out to someone and they ask you like, "How do you know?" or like, "Are you sure?" It almost comes. I don't know. To me, it always comes out as like they're trying to make you doubt yourself. I had a family member ask me that, and I was just very kind of like, I couldn't tell where they were coming from, whether it was like out of sincerity or just like it made it sound like they were trying to make me double think myself.
Let me just say that cishet people don't question their sexuality or gender. Like, if you're questioning, welcome. Like, you count. Like, even if you're questioning, or like while you're questioning, you're always welcome in queer spaces. Welcome to educate yourself. But like, yeah, any person that is, I don't know, like, I don't know, I don't get asking, "Are you sure?" Because like, even if you're not sure, you're still queer, you know? Like, I don't know.
Well, and also if someone's gotten to the point where they are coming out to you, they've been sitting on that for a long time. And not even that, if they're coming out to you, then they trust you. And so you need to be receptive to that. But yeah. Yeah.
To add a little bit more context, this person is very, they're very accepting. I've come out to them as many different things. Well, first it was gay, then it was queer, then polyamorous, and then now using they, them pronouns. And so it was only during they, them that they, it was polyamorous and they, them, they both asked, like, "Are you sure?" And then, "How did you know?" I don't know if it's me coming off as like they're consistently changing everything about them, but it's more about like you're consistently finding out who you are every day of your life. So things are going to change. Labels aren't staying forever. And I think that kind of really confuses cishet people because they're used to very black and white thinking of that's like, this is that, and everything's like this, when it's all shades of gray. But yeah.
One of the people at the friendship circles actually showed me this quote that said, I don't remember, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said that, I'm gonna butcher it, but, labels are ever changing and can be, not labels ever changing, he said, like, labels can be changing, can be fluid and ever changing. You don't have to stress about it being absolute, and like what once was your label doesn't have to always be your label. Like, considering it as such will make you stress out, friends. And it was from a Tumblr post, and I had never heard of anything more gay in my life, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. This is so much easier to be palatable, because I was struggling with my gender at the time too. I'm still kind of struggling with the concept of either being a he/him lesbian or a transgender man, still like on the fence about it, maybe whatever. I don't know if it's necessarily that I'm not transgender or what, but maybe it's that I don't want to get a physically transition, medically transition or what, because I don't want to lose my hair. That's probably what it is, honestly. But yeah.
I was going to say that's really cool to hear, like what you were saying about labels being ever changing, like both of you, because I think the reason I never formally came out to my family was because I was like, I don't know what my sexuality is. I just know I'm not straight. Like, and so, and so for me, like coming out to my family, especially like coming out at Thanksgiving, something as big as like, hey, everyone, listen up. Like ding, ding, ding. Yeah. I don't have a label really, like queer is kind of my label right now, and it's like I think that it's going to be that for a very long time. And so I think I felt like this like feeling that like I couldn't come out because I wasn't a lesbian, I wasn't bisexual, I wasn't, you know what I mean? It's just like I don't know what I am, so I can't come out. And so I like what you're saying about like you can come out as many times as you need to until like, and like every time they should be accepting and, you know, want to know more about it, and yeah, and how labels do change. Yeah.
Well, and just part of that, they're labels, not levels. You know, like you're not locked into anything. You're not like, it's not like a club. They're like, oh, you're bi, and oh, you're pan now, we're kicking you out. Like, no, it doesn't work like that.
There's no
like
gatekeeping either. There should not be gatekeeping.
no gatekeeping. Yeah, no. Like, I'm on a roll here. No, but like labels are just words, and words are just made up sounds, right? Like
It's a social construct.
it's that's what social construct means, right? Like it's all just how we lump ourselves together, but it doesn't define us. You know, like we use the word like I don't know, like I don't know where I'm going with that.
Yes.
You get to define the label doesn't define you.
Yes.
There you go.
Put that on
Mic drop. Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, seriously, can we actually make t-shirts like that?
Oh my god, we
We
should.
would make a killing, guys.
That is my
That's the new
saying
Encircle
now.
shirt.
You have to
Yeah.
quote me.
I
Trademark.
will.
Buy our
No,
merch.
you should put that on your pins. If it fits.
Oh my god.
Shameless plug. Wren has a pin making business.
Making pronoun pins and stuff.
This might be a side thing, but when Cal said leveling up, it just made me think of like game people as a video game. Like the more cool you get, the more you level up.
Yeah.
I'm like a level 5 queer right now. I think.
Level
Yeah,
one
once you unlock your gender
person.
crisis, that's when you're like you
Oh
move
my god,
on.
your gender is an
It's-
unplayable character right now.
It's the
Level one
Xbox thing
trans
where
man.
it's like
crisis, it's like
Gender
Mario Kart.
crisis.
It's like the banana that gets dropped and you don't see it coming. And then suddenly you're spinning out of control. No!
I just imagine like the Xbox notification where it's like new
achievement
sexual
unlocked?
new sexuality unlocked, new gender unlocked. Isn't being gay fun? We get to do so many things.
I do have, like, we talked, yeah. Sorry. Okay, so I do have one more question, kind of, that we talked about how, and like this was such a beautiful conversation, but how everyone has had experiences where they've made other people feel safe, like their siblings, or they've wanted to do that. My question is just like, how now can we make sure that we are safe at, you know, as we go home for the holidays, if we go home for Thanksgiving or Christmas, or if we're around family, and I don't know, like, why is that hard for queer people? You know, like, I don't know a single queer person who like loves Thanksgiving. So maybe we could just kind of talk
I
about
like the food.
why that is. Yeah.
Right. I think, or at least I know for me, it's that family members have a more lasting effect on me when it comes to me coming out to them. Like, I don't know if you guys like are familiar with this, but like if your parents, even if you don't like them or like are detached from them that much, like you're already moved out and stuff and you're detached that way, whatever they say still has a lasting effect on you, and like it can like build you up or tear you down, even if it's like the smallest comment.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it comes with like family, and it's harder to come out to them, even if it's multiple times or if it's your first time, is because because it can matter what they say about you because they've been around you your whole life and more personal to you. If it's a stranger or a friend, those come and go constantly. So it's easier to be more lax with them. But when it's your family member, people that you're related to, you take it more personally, I think.
I think the tricky dynamic is that family members also, like for me personally, they also like, this isn't funny, but I want to laugh because it's so freaking preposterous. Like that it happens. They're like, "Oh, you're still eating like at Thanksgiving dinner, like 20 minutes into the meal or like whatever." Like they're just so messed up. Like they get like just like the shiz people say to you while you're eating, like the comments they make, like, "Well, oh, you're gonna eat that?" Like, I'm sorry, what? Like, this is a holiday revolving around food, and you all have body image issues too, but instead you're gonna pass them on to your children as well? Like, what? What made you decide to pass on the intergenerational trauma? Why would you not let it stop there? You know? Like, what made you decide to, like... Right? Like, why wouldn't you just decide to let it die with you? Or, like... That's not what I meant. Why wouldn't you just let it decide to die with you in therapy? You know? Like go to therapy and get it sorted out instead of, like... giving it to your children and their children's children and, like, letting it, like, you know what I mean?
Thanksgiving, not trauma giving.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. Thanksgiving, not trauma giving. Exactly, Cal. Preach. All right.
I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt.
Thanksgiving, not trauma giving, or what?
Yeah.
I can take it.
Okay.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I think like Thanksgiving is hard for so many reasons, and for queer people it just compounds. You know, like there's obviously parts that are like just the aesthetics of Thanksgiving is very traditional and conservative, and like that has never been welcoming to queer people. You know, like or brown people, of course. And so like it's just not for us. You know, and then things like family just compound that, where you have to be with everybody. What are you laughing at? Do I have spinach in my teeth?
I
Like,
got contact with Wren. They started giggling and then I started giggling and then it's like nuts.
I'm sorry for how much editing we're gonna have to do.
Sorry. Okay, go.
Um,
I'm sorry, I can't. Oh my god, I can't.
okay.
Okay, hold on.
Well, I just think in order for us to be safe, like, and we kind of talked about this a little bit, but you gotta set boundaries with family sometimes. And I think family has a hard time recognizing your boundaries.
Oh, yeah.
Family, like, it's easy for me to be queer around you guys, especially because you never knew straight Cal. But my family has this image of who I am. No, but my family thinks I was. And it's hard for them to change their view of me that, like, oh no, they're queer now. You know, like, I don't know. But setting boundaries with family and, like, going back to this, like, do whatever is going to be best for you, wherever you're going to be safest and whatever you're going to be happiest doing. Like, if that means, I don't know, not going to family dinner with everybody and just showing up for dessert, or if that means, like, doing a Friendsgiving, or, you know, just being with family for dinner and then hanging out with friends the rest of the weekend, or, you know, like, there's so many different ways to do this. And I hope nobody feels obligated to put themselves in a situation where they're going to feel bad about who they are or where their identity is going to be challenged.
Sorry, you can go.
And just like going off of that, like if you're setting those boundaries with your family and they're like making it a big deal, you know what I mean? Like, oh, like you just don't want to come because of whatever. Like it, like if your family doesn't respect your boundaries, then like they don't respect, or then they don't deserve you there at Thanksgiving, you know? Yeah, that's all I was going to say.
I will say there's nothing wrong with explicitly setting those boundaries. Because going back to when I came out to that family member saying, like, my pronouns are they, them, and then they asked the question of, like, are you sure? Or, like, how do you know? I explained to them that sounds like they make it... I expressed to them that it sounded like they're really trying to make me, like, question myself. And they, of course, just got defensive about it and were very much of, like, well, I'm only asking because da-da-da-da-da. And setting those boundaries can be hard. It's a challenge. It's never going to be set in there. And I would just say that you have to expect some sort of, or be ready for some sort of pushback when it comes to setting boundaries. Because they're getting used to trying to adjust themselves so that you can be more comfortable around them.
I would say, though, that while they might not be great about respecting your boundaries, you are entitled to those boundaries and you are entitled to whatever makes you feel safe and comfortable. And if those boundaries include not going to family holidays because you know that you won't feel safe, that's fine. You aren't obligated.
Yeah, like life is way too short to not live your authentic queer self, and putting yourself in those spaces where you feel like you have to shield your identity and not let people in is not not the best, and yeah, so I think that like Thanksgiving should not be one of those spaces, but unfortunately it is. Yeah. Does anyone know?
Well, yeah. Does anyone have anything else? Because I got another question follow up to that.
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
Well, for our listeners who maybe aren't queer themselves, but are allies, maybe parents or aunts and uncles or cousins, siblings, yeah, what can they do to make sure we feel safe? Like, how can they stand up and defend us or protect us? Like, what little things can be done to make sure Thanksgiving's safe for our queer family? Let's go Taylor and then Lee.
If someone starts to go on a tirade or whatever, try to change subject, stand up for us. You know what I mean? Like, we all have that one relative that, like, at least one relative that, like, is crazy or, like, tries to go on a tirade or make everything about politics. My entire family tries to talk politics on Thanksgiving, even though we decide not to every year. We're like, we're not going to talk about politics. We end up talking about politics. I don't know what it is. My family's just insane. But the thing is, like, it's important that we have our safe spaces and our safe people. And I think what we can do as queer people, we shouldn't have to be, like, do this, but we have to, but, like, it's a necessary thing. Do you know what I mean? If we find, like, us, like, what I want to do and what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my people in my family and I'm going to, like, be like, hey, if things go awry, I'm going to go to you. You know what I mean? I'm going to be like, hey, like, I need to talk. Like, to my sister, for example, or my cousin Kobe. You know what I mean? Like, people who know I'm out and who I can talk to if I feel like I'm getting triggered or whatever, you know what I mean? Who will know what's up, you know? Did you want it?
No, Lee.
Okay. Sorry.
Also, I would suggest you talk to that person and see what they're comfortable with. They may not necessarily be comfortable with you stepping in and saying, like, for instance, standing up for their pronouns. Maybe they're not out to everyone. See what they're comfortable with you doing and follow their wishes. It's great if they want you to stand up for them. But also, if they're not comfortable with that, you don't need to force the issue.
You can just change the subject. Yeah.
I would say it's great to find solidarity if you do have queer family members. Me and my cousin go downstairs to my room and just hang out. After dinner, that's it. But if you are an ally to someone who you know doesn't have a really stable or supportive family unit that just doesn't really advocate for them or support them, I would say text them and make sure that they're just kind of okay. Because if you have your own plans for Thanksgiving and you know that they have to go home to a family that might not be supportive, I would say it could mean a lot if you text them, call them, do something to contact them, and just kind of know that you're there for them, even if their family isn't.
I think also, like, I appreciate allies that, like, don't directly talk about you, but they're, like, very, like, for example, if politics were to come up, like, they're not specifically, like, standing up for you, they're standing up for the queer community as a whole, you know, and, like,
Exactly.
Don't single you out.
yeah.
Like, not like Taylor is, like, queer, you should not talk about this, but, like, queer people are people too. Like, sorry,
Yeah.
I mean,
No, totally, yeah. Sorry, I was just making sure the microphone heard you. Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
Oh, no, you're good. You didn't.
Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about or anything you want to say to queer people that might be listening, allies, family?
Don't out your queer relatives.
Oh,
Yeah.
Do not out your queer relatives. Sorry. I keep doing this wrong. Do not out your queer relatives under any circumstances. Ask them before you say something. Double, triple, quadruple check. Outing your queer relatives is a real traumatic experience for them. I speak from experience as someone who was almost outed. Not fun. Not fun at all. I think it can do a lot of damage to the person, to you, to the relationship. Don't do it. Don't even think about it. Double, triple, quadruple check and make sure you don't do it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, also yes. Train of thought. Dang it.
Still not your queer relatives.
No.
Advice you have? Any final thoughts?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, as unfortunate as it is, almost every queer person on Thanksgiving does feel that sense of isolation. And while, like, it is awful that we all feel that, I think that it's important to know that there is, like, the queer community will always be there for you. You know, like, even when you do feel isolated, like, knowing that on that day, like, there are so many other queer people that are not alone in that feeling, and, like, they understand you, and, like, ultimately all of us just want to get to the other side and feel okay in our identities. And I think just, like, feeling that solidarity, even just, like, on Thanksgiving, like, just knowing that, like, around the entire world there's just, like, so many queer people that feel the same way that I do. And when in doubt, like, I know the queer community has my back even if my family doesn't.
Yeah, check Reddit or Tumblr.
Well, and I just want to say, and maybe this is more a message to myself than anybody listening, but, like, it is okay to be selfish. It's okay to put yourself first. It's okay to say, no, I don't want to talk about that. Or, no, I don't want to spend 8 hours at grandma's house. Or whatever, you know, like, you need to come first. And, you know, like, do whatever it's going to take to be okay during these holidays. Like, go for walks, step on crunchy leaves, pet the dog, you know, like, listen to peaceful music, or listen to Lady Gaga, or dance, or sing, or like
Montero.
or Montero, yeah, listen to Little Nas X, like, anything and everything you can do to stay connected to your own mental well-being is going to be so good. And, like, there's something to be said about gratitude and, you know, being thankful at Thanksgiving, but, like, be thankful for yourself and, like, the goodness that you have, and don't let anyone take that away from you.
I have one thing after you.
Okay. Putting yourself first isn't selfish. I was reading a book recently, and like, one part that I just absolutely loved.
Was it Untamed?
It was.
That's not bad.
Are
You
we
should
gonna
plug
plug
her.
it? Untamed by Glennon Doyle?
Yes,
Untamed
go read
by
it.
Glennon Doyle.
Untamed by Glennon Doyle.
Shameless plug.
Fabulous.
Hit us up for writing night.
Yeah.
No, but one of the parts of the book that she wrote was talking about how your one job in life is to, how did she word it? Is to disappoint as many people as it takes to never disappoint yourself. So, like, it doesn't, yeah, like, it's not your job to live your life to appease other people. Like, if disappointing other people means making yourself happier, means being truer to yourself, then that's what you do, because you are the one person that you always have. That's all.
Yay, Glennon Doyle.
Yes.
Write us, please.
Please write me. I'm obsessed with you.
She's married to Abby Wambach too. Did you know that?
What?
Never mind.
Did you say she's BIPOC?
She's married to Abby Wambach.
Wambach.
I just didn't hear what you said, but yes, I did know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were just talking about, like, it is like the holiday of thanks or whatever, but yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I am so thankful that I am queer, because I think that, like, being queer has been, like, the most transformative thing in my life. I feel so connected to, like, the people around me, and I think that I view the world in a much more beautiful light, and, you know, I think it's kind of made me have to stand up for myself more, and, you know, I think being queer honestly saved my life, so I'm thankful for being queer.
If you are extra and you are queer, just, like, take that opportunity to be like, I'm so thankful to be.
Oh, At the table when everyone goes around.
Oh yeah.
Just go like, I'm thankful
turkey,
for.
like-
Yeah.
They're not gonna be. They don't know what we're doing. We're doing the gay
Oh, yeah.
hand flip.
I don't think
Yeah.
anyone in my
Anyone's
family's gonna
listening
know what
to the
this
audio
is
is
except for
not
my
gonna
mom. Yeah.
hear
Gay SL.
this.
We're
Yeah.
gonna, it's the lip press.
My,
We're doing
when
the
I
lip
did
press.
it, my hand made like a popping noise. So that's
What?
that's
That's
the
what-
that's
that's
the
the sound
sound.
effect?
That's the sound.
They're gonna know.
Guys, this has been so fun. Should that be how we end it? We all just say something we're thankful for. Is that a little cheesy?
Yeah.
Oh, I did have something I want to ask, but
Oh,
I don't know if
Okay.
we can do it on the pod.
No, you ask it first.
This is just kind of like my quirky little thing, but like, if there's one food you have to get rid of at the table at Thanksgiving, what do you want to get rid of?
The turkey.
The turkey. What are you
Yeah,
gonna eat?
yeah. I never eat the turkey.
I understand that.
Smoked turkey is actually bomb, guys.
Okay, I just want to thank you all for this little podcast. This has been fun. Like, we should do this again.
Yeah.
A little chaotic, but I think
What do you mean?
A little.
I think we've made it work. So I just want to say I'm thankful, I'm grateful for all of you for being such good friends. And that's why I wanted to go first. But yeah, like you guys have been, I'm thankful for you being co-hosts on this little podcast episode.
Maybe this is kind of copying, but I am really grateful for all the people I've met since moving here and the community I found and how supportive it is.
One thing I am grateful for is to have Encircle in my life, because it is such a great place. It's where I was actually kind of feel comfortable to actually discover my sexuality and learn more about me and be comfortable asking questions. So I'm super grateful for this place.
So this is gonna get a little like, this is stuck to my sweater. Thank you. This might get a little sad at first, but like, okay, so I had no friends last year after this time. This is sad, but like, now I have a lot of friends, so I'm really grateful for y'all. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you for having friends. I'm thankful for having friends. Whatever. Great grammar.
I am really, really grateful for not only my friends that I get to sit on this couch with right now and talk to, but for all of my friends who have just been nothing but loving and accepting and supportive to me, because that's something that I never thought that I would get, and here I am. So here's your daily
We love
message of
you.
hope. It gets better.
Yeah, it does.